Hello, my name's James Conrad, and it's my pleasure to be here with you for the Certified Ethical Hacker series. This is going to be a great bunch of fun, folks. We have a lot of different things to do, a lot of hacking to do, and some very interesting things are going on in the security landscape these days. We'll take a look at all of that, but we'll start with an introduction to ethical hacking, in particular, the ethical part of that. Oh, it's so constraining to be honest, people, but we really must be. Among other things, it may help keep you out of jail. So we'll take a look at some guidelines that we really have to bear in mind as ethical hackers, and then we'll take a look at some terms and types of hackers and key things that are important for certified ethical hackers to know about. We'll take a look at virtualization. Just about everybody's using virtualization now instead of just individual physical machines. You'll probably have one or more host machines, and inside of that you'll have a whole bunch of virtual machines to work with. We'll get an overview of that and get your feet wet with it if you're not used to that. Then we'll take a look at Linux, because a lot of people aren't really that familiar with Linux either, but it's really a very favorite platform of hackers. So we'll take a look at some basics there. And that'll take us through, by the way, the rest of the series as well. We'll look at reconnaissance, we'll look at footprinting. These are great ways to identify who your target is and what you should focus on as you start to narrow down your hacking attempts. And from there we move into social engineering. This is really kind of scary because a lot of this is kind of con jobs, but it also relates to a lot of electronic methods as well. We'll look at some very interesting ways to make that work. And that's going to derive information from people that they wouldn't otherwise give to us. Might be very useful. We also take a look here at scanning and enumeration. This will help us to identify what kinds of hosts are on the network, what roles they play, what services they might be running, and what operating systems are there. We take a look at everybody's favorite, cracking passwords. This is embarrassingly easy to do. And I'll show you all the steps you need to have an effective password cracking session. We'll take a look also at system hacking. There's actually several subtopics underneath that. We'll take a look at alternate data streams, steganography, which is a great way to hide secret messages inside of image files like JPEGs, for example. We'll look at keyloggers, Metasploit, lots of things under system hacking. That's going to be a lot of fun. Next up is a HACK-O-RAMA. It's just a bunch of hacks about how to control somebody's computer. In fact, we can so totally own their machine that they probably will never know that we own it, and there's no way their antivirus will ever detect that we're there. So it's a pretty powerful session or two that we have there. We take a look at sniffing as well. Now this is going to be really important because on most networks these days, the network equipment prevents us from sniffing the way that we want to. I'll show you how you can get around that though. Then we take a look at denial of service. So this is going to be pretty important in some respects. It's pretty noisy and obvious, but sometimes you just have to bring a server down. If for no other reason, just because you don't like that server. Who knows? And then we'll take a look at hijacking. This is where somebody has established a session, maybe even to a secure server, maybe over in a TLS session, for example, but you can still derive information out of it, even maybe their passwords. Then we take a look at hacking webs and hacking websites and web applications. There's a lot involved with this as well. Things such as cross-site scripting, and a big part of this will be SQL injection. Then we'll move on to cryptography. This is a very important part of Certified Ethical Hacker because you have to understand a lot of the cryptographic mechanisms that are involved to protect files, hard drives, and even websites. We look at intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems to protect ourselves from intruders. We also look at ways to get around those things if we're on the offensive. There's a great tool out there called SNORT, which we'll take a look at how to configure. And we also look at honeypots, which are a way to distract hackers to hacking after pretty much red herrings. We look at wireless networking as well, and in particular, how to crack Wi-Fi passwords, such as WPA or WPA2. And we'll also look at how to uncover hidden SSIDs. Well, folks, this whole series has been so much fun to record. I know it's packed full of information that you're really going to love. Let's go ahead and get started with our very first nugget.
Can anybody out there hear me?